Hello and welcome. My name is Mike Amenti and I'm going to be your instructor for MIS 342 e-commerce. If you're here for Computer Science 342, don't worry, you're still in the right place. It's a cross-listed course, but we're going to be referring to it as MIS 342. In this video, we're going to be reviewing parts of the syllabus, and we're also going to do an intro into our Canvas site. By no means does this excuse you from reading the entire syllabus. Please do. You really should for this class. I'm just going to be covering some highlights. I'm not a local instructor to St. Francis, so I don't have office hours. I don't even have an office on campus. So you can email me anytime. If it's urgent, please text me. My number and email address are there. If you do choose to text me, in the open of your text, just please put your name and what class you're in. Sometimes I have classes running at the same time, and you could just say, "Oh, this is Jenny from class." Well, I don't know. I can have 2 or 3 different Jennys. So please introduce yourself, say what class you are, and we'll go from here. You don't have to do that in email. I have the database with all your emails in there. I do have a personal rule that I will respond to you within 24 hours. Historically, I usually respond within an hour or two. I really try to email my students back as soon as I can. If you have any ADA accommodations or you require any assistance for this class, please reach out to myself and Miss April Fry. Her contact information is below, and we will do our very best to assist you in whatever way we can. A little bit about myself. I do have my MBA. I received that from St. Francis, so I highly recommend the program. Before I started my MBA, I was active duty in the Navy, serving aboard fast attack submarines. My last ship was the USS Pittsburgh. I'm currently in the reserve supporting tactical submarine operations. In my civilian job, I am the Quality Management System Program Manager for a government contract. We have an ISO 9001:2015 compliance system that I oversee for our employees, and I'm also the Facility Security Officer for that contract. I'm originally from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, so not terribly far from Loretto. I live in New Hampshire with my wife and kids. MIS 342 electronic commerce can really be summed up as just regular old run-of-the-mill commerce, but with the internet and technology. And that's kind of a layman's way of describing it. But it's true. We're not changing the rules of business. We are just conducting business with the innovations that the internet and technology brings us. So if you've taken previous business courses, you're going to see a lot of similarities, and then we're going to expand upon those with the power of the internet. I also have a picture of our book down here as well as the ISBN. It is imperative that you have this book. I don't care if you have the text or if it's a PDF, if you own it or you rent it, you need this book to pass this class. We rely heavily on it. Your assignments will come directly from the book. If that's not enough to get you to buy the book, I will say that this book does an incredible job at describing some of these concepts, especially if you have no background in e-commerce or maybe if you're not exactly tech savvy. This is a really great book, and I think you're going to enjoy it. This is an 8-week course. If you've not taken an 8-week course before, it is incredibly fast-paced. We have a lot of information to cover in only 8 weeks to cover it. Our week begins on Monday and it ends on Sunday. All of your assignments are due Sunday. The only caveat to that is your initial discussion post needs to be done by Thursday. On Sunday night, I expect your post done, posted on Thursday, of course, but you to respond to at least 2 other students. I expect you to do a bare minimum of 7 hours per week for this, and honestly, that's probably on the lower side because we do have a lot of material to cover. That being said, some of this material may be new to you. That's fine. Please reach out to me at any time. I'd be more than happy to text, email, or talk your way through any of our concepts. I do not accept late assignments, but I will accept late assignments if you talk to me beforehand. As long as you're open and honest with me, I'll be more than happy to accommodate anything going on in your life. Even if you think something's going on, hey, I might not be able to make Sunday night, or may not be able to post by Thursday. That's fine. Let me know. We're all adults. I'm going to treat you just like I would treat anybody in our office. If something's going on, just be honest with me, be upfront, tell me beforehand, and I will do everything I can to make sure we get through this with the best outcome. On our course outline, I try to be incredibly consistent. Every week you're going to have 2 chapters to read, with the exception of week 5 and 7. There's only 1 chapter due that week. Other than reading, you're always going to have a discussion, you're always going to have a weekly exercise, and you're always going to have your quiz. All of these are due Sunday, with the exception of your initial discussion post. I want to talk about our discussions real quick. Because we don't have face-to-face interaction, I really rely on the discussion boards to, one, gauge how much my students are learning, but also you might learn concepts from somebody else, or you might have personal experience with some of the topics we're covering, and I want you to express that. I want you to bring in personal experiences into the discussion posts. I want the discussions, your initial post, to be anywhere between 350 to 500 words. Feel free to go more if you need to, but this isn't an essay. This is supposed to be a discussion. I would rather have many posts than you put a dissertation on there. I want these to be substantial, and I want them to be really well thought out and meaningful. And the same thing goes to your responses. You need to respond to at least 2 of your classmates. I want those responses to be respectful and well thought out. It's perfectly okay to disagree with somebody's viewpoint, but I expect if you disagree with them, back that up with a link or a reference. Make sure these are good references. I want this to be very constructive and a good learning environment. Every once in a while, I may chime in on a discussion. My posting, typically I don't, but if I do post on a discussion thread, that is not any sign of how that thread's going. It's not an indication of worth or merit. Sometimes I just post because it's a really good discussion and I want in on it. For your weekly exercises, you're going to be uploading something. It's either going to be a Word document, maybe an Excel, or a PowerPoint. I am a stickler on how these are formatted and worded, and I'll tell you why. In another class, database class that I teach, if you're unfamiliar with a lot of databases, there's very strict formatting, especially for dates. If you put month, day, year, but it's really day, month, year, you can really mess up the database. The same thing goes if you're uploading documents. Sometimes the formatting that the file name is very particular. And if you don't have that format right, it might not upload, it would upload and be corrupted. So for this class, anytime you upload something, I want you to follow this format down here. Your last name and the name of the assignment. So for this example, it would be a Menti, week 1 weekly exercise, and it's a Word document, DOC, DOCX, whatever you have to be using. I also want a header on the first page in this format down here. First name, last name, class, Mr. Menti, my name, the assignment, week 1 weekly exercise, and then the date. It's incredibly important. That's why I have this big blue arrow here. After week 1, if you don't do this week 1, I'll just give you a friendly reminder, but after that you will lose a point if the formatting is not correct. I really want to start honing this into your minds, because when you get out into corporate America, you might have to, name all your files in accordance with whatever database system you're using. The last thing we're going to talk about in the syllabus is our final project, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think you're really going to enjoy this. I want you to imagine that we are in a company, and I'll let that company be up to you. I'm the CEO of the company, and you are in charge of a transition team, and we want to bring everything online. So basically, right now, we are just a regular business operating on brick and mortar commerce. But now that you've taken this e-commerce course, I want you to show me what you've learned and sell me on transitioning online. I want this to be presented in video format. At the very least, that could just be you reading over a PowerPoint presentation. If you want to show your face, that's fine as well. upload it to YouTube, and you will email me the link to that YouTube and also post it in the assignment in Canvas. A couple of suggestions on here on topics I want you to cover, and just some other things you have to. Like, for example, hey, we don't have an email, or we don't have a URL, so we don't have a website yet. So propose an address. Obviously, this will be based on whatever the company you come up with, but then prove to me it's not in use already. Typically, we use this by using a website called whois.net. Tells you ownership. And a couple other things. Well, obviously, it's a business class, so we want to talk about Porter's 5 forces. I think this is going to be a really fun assignment, and I want you to start thinking about this early on, maybe like week 2 or week 3. Start formulating in your mind where you want to go with this assignment. And as always, please reach out to me if you have any questions. It doesn't have to be incredibly long. I'm looking for at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you go over, that's fine. Some students have a lot of fun with this and turn in a 20, 30-minute presentation, and that's fine. I want you to enjoy this. All right, so here we are on our Canvas page. I have our syllabus down here for your reference at any time. As soon as you go in, obviously you're going to go to Start here. You can also access this by going over to the modules on the side, but we'll click on Start here. Week 1 is going to be a little packed. You do have some Start Here activities as well as week 1. You are watching the introductory video. You can also find it here. If you don't have the book or it may not arrive in time and you want to get an online one, I do have a link. So at the end of this sentence, just click on here. This will take you to VitalSource, and you can rent or buy an electronic PDF of this textbook. I've recommended them before. I've used them in the past. A reputable source. This will get it to you instantly if you have not received it from St. Francis Bookstore, Amazon, or anything else. I have another link to our syllabus here. Also, I want you to go into our bio and profile discussion. Again, because this is an online course, we don't have face-to-face interactions. So I would like you just to make a little initial post about yourself, a little brief bio. No need to respond to other students on this one. This is mostly for me, so I have an understanding of your background. But feel free to read through it with other students. If you recognize a familiar name, say hello. Let's try to simulate as much of the in-class interaction that we can on this online format. And then finally, you'll continue on to week 1. It's not posted yet because I'm in my instructor view, so we will leave student view. And then you go on to your week 1. Typically, your week 1 page looks like this. I talk a quick little blurb around each chapter. After that, I'd send you off to read the chapters. There are videos. Most weeks will have 1 or 2 videos. This is just some of my commentary on the PowerPoint. I also do provide the publisher provided PowerPoint, so feel free to look at both or one of these, whichever one you prefer. And then we get into our standard discussion, exercise, and quiz for each week. Well, I hope this was informative. I hope you enjoy our class. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.